Good morning, students. Today I'm going to teach you grammar. It's a kind of a difficult grammar, but once you learn the overview of auxiliary verbs, English grammar is going to become easier for you. I hope. So in this video, we are going to cover three auxiliary verbs: be, do, and have. In English, verbs are classified into two classes. Number one, lexical verbs and auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verb further divided into primary auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, and marginal auxiliary verbs. Lexical verb is also called as main verb or full verb. They are used independently as main verbs. They are also called ordinary verbs. We can define it as lexical verb is any verb that is not an auxiliary verb or helping verb. How we can define it? Lexical verb is any verb that is not an auxiliary verb or helping verb. They are used as the main verb in the sentence. It carries the real word and semantic meaning. That's why called the main verb. Lexical verbs are open class of verbs that contain all verbs except auxiliary verbs. The lexical verbs denotes the main action to which the subject is engaged in. It doesn't require the presence of an auxiliary verb or helping verb in the sentence, whereas an auxiliary verb is used in the sentence to help a lexical verb. A lexical verb can exist alone in the sentence. Try to understand the use of lexical verbs. In sentence 1, I write a letter. Write is first form of the verb write. In second sentence, he wrote a letter. Wrote is lexical verb and used as second form of the verb write. In sentence, he has written a letter. Lexical verb written is used as third form of the verb write. So, are in sentence 4 and 5, writing is the ing form or fourth form of the verb write, and writes is the fifth form of the verb write. What are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are so called because they help to form the various tenses, moods, and voices of other verbs. The principal one are be, do, and have. Okay, there is a further set of auxiliary verbs known as modal auxiliary verbs. These combine with other verbs to express necessity, possibility, intention, or ability. The modal auxiliary verbs are must, shall, will, should, would, ought to, can, could, may, and might. There is a third category of auxiliary verb, the marginal modal auxiliaries, also called semi-modals. They are dare, need, ought to, used to. They are marginal because they don't share all the properties of the other or don't do so regularly. So, we have three auxiliary verbs that we use in English: be, do, and have. But the thing about the auxiliary verb is that each auxiliary verb will tell us what kind of grammar we are going to use with it. So let's look at the first one, be. So be in its form in the present tense is am, is, are. Negative, am not, isn't, aren't, isn't or is not, aren't or are not. These are present. The past tense would be present, or the past tense in the positive is was and were. Negative, was not, were not. So how do we actually use this auxiliary verb? And the answer is we use it in two forms of English grammar. The first one form is progressive or continuous. We have present progressive or present continuous, past progressive or past continuous, and future progressive or future continuous. Every time we have a sentence in English with progressive or continuous, we know we are going to use the verb to be. So, if our sentence is present progressive or present continuous, we are going to use the present tense of the verb to be, is, am, are, with a verb ing. So, in English grammar, anything that is progressive or continuous is another word for the same grammar. It's always going to be an ing on the main verb. The thing that changes and tells us the grammar is the verb to be. Present is am, are. What are present? Am, are plus verb ing. But the past, we are going to use the past tense was and were plus verb ing. So progressive will always have a verb ing. The thing that changes the tense of it is the verb to be. We have future progressive or future continuous. In this one, we are simply going to use the verb will. So, in this one, we have will be plus verb ing. For example, I will be eating pizza. This tells us what's going to happen in the future. I was eating pizza was the past, and I am eating pizza. Something is happening right now. That's the present progressive. So, the present progressive or present continuous will always have the verb to be, either past, present or future, and it will always have an ing on the verb. Okay, that's cool. Let's get little more complicated. We have another structure in English grammar called passive voice. You can see in the picture, it's written here, passive voice. Now, passive voice, basically, you are taking the action from the person, or the focus on the person, we are putting it towards the activity. So, in a normal English sentence, we could say, I eat lunch. But in a passive sentence, we are taking away the subject and we are focusing on the action. So, with the passive voice, we have future passive, present passive, and past passive. It goes along the same idea, is that the verb to be is going to tell us, is it present, or if it's past. When we use a passive sentence, we can only ever use the past participle of the verb or the third of form of the verb. So passive will always be the verb to be plus the past participle. If it's present, it's is/am/are plus past participle. If it's past, it's was and were plus past participle. So as an example, we say lunch is eaten. Present tense, lunch was eaten. Okay. I am going to step away and let you check that out. Let your brain absorb it. Make some sentences using this and the verb to be. If we use the future passive, I could say lunch will be eaten. Okay. So again, where we are using the future, we use will be, but we are going to use the past participle. Have you made some sentences? Do it now. So we have done the verb to be, and hopefully it is a beginning to make sense, because English grammar rarely makes sense. I'm going to make sense for you. So the next one is the auxiliary verb do. Now this one is interesting because we only use it in the negative form, in the simple present, or we use it in the negative simple past. So we don't have to worry about the positive, but we do use it for the negative in the simple present and the negative in the past. And for questions, so let's check out first the simple present. We only use this auxiliary verb for the negative and the question form. So in the negative, we are going to use subject plus don't or doesn't plus the main verb. Now, this is where English gets tricky, and you have to remember that if it is I, you, we, and they, we use don't. Okay, but it is he, she, or it, we have to use doesn't or does not. So this is, you always have to be careful with your subject and your verb agreement. So as an example, I don't like pizza. If I used he, I would say he doesn't like pizza or he does not like pizza. And we have to be careful and use the main verb. Okay, the question would be, does he like pizza? If it is a question form, we put the auxiliary verb first. Do, doesn't, subject plus the main verb. We also use this in the simple past. Again, only with negative and only with a question. So the way that we change does into the negative is didn't or did not in the past, but this is where we always make a mistake. I have told you before, English grammar is crazy, weird. Really, I am not joking. When we use didn't, we always have to use the main verb. And at this point, we get confused because we think this is past tense, isn't it? So, if it is past tense, we have to use the past of the verb because the auxiliary verb didn't makes the sentence past. Okay. So, if it is an auxiliary verb, it is going to tell us if it's past or present. and we have to use the main verb. So we have to say he didn't go home or he did not go home. You cannot say he did not went home. Are you listening to me? We can't say he did not went home. That's grammatically wrong. Didn't verb tells us it's past, and doesn't verb tells us it's present. Oh, that's kind of cool when you learn it. If you are doing the question form, it's very similar to this past tense did. Subject plus main verb. Again, you have to be careful. Even though it is past, we actually have to use the main verb because the did or the auxiliary verb tells us it's a past tense, not a present tense. So main verb must be used. So did and did not. Did not in the negative and did in the question. Another tip, when you are speaking English and you are asking someone a question, always ask them a positive question. It is more difficult for the listener and for the speaker and for everyone involved if you use a negative question. Hence, just for now, you are just learning this. Always ask a positive question like, did I go home? Didn't I go home? The negative question is always much more confusing, and we need to make English grammar simpler. Now I am going to one step away and let you absorb this. Now students, please make sentences in your notebook using the auxiliary verbs do. Now next one is the most exciting one. We are going to use have, has, negative have not and has not, and then we have the past had and had not. So when we use the verb as an auxiliary have, we use it for perfect tenses in English. They are so perfect. So when we use the perfect tense, the verb is always going to be the past participle, just like in the passive sentence. So the passive and the perfects in English, we always use the past participle, and again we can have the future perfect. We can have present perfect and we can have past perfect. So the way we form the future perfect is we are going to use subject with will. So future, we use will all the time. We have, and then the past participle, okay. Or we can also use has, hence the future we use will plus have plus the past participle. If we are using present perfect, we are going to use the subject have or has plus the past participle. So if you can think about this have, in the present tense is have and has. So in the past tense, we are going to use had plus the past participle. So if we are using past perfect, we are using had plus past participle. If we are talking about present perfect, we are using has plus past participle. Students get confused and they think that the present perfect is the present tense, but it's not. The present perfect talks about the past. The thing that makes the verb present or past is the wonderful auxiliary verb have. Okay. If the verb have is present perfect, we use the present tense of the verb. If we use the past tense and past perfect, we are going to use the past tense of have. So, I have not eaten lunch. Future, I will have played 6 games. So, here we are using will, have plus the past participle. If we use present perfect, we use he, she, it, has eaten. You have already eaten. You have to be careful again on your subject and your verb agreement. There are so many things to remember while solving the exercises in English grammar. The past perfect, all we are doing is changing has or have to had. Okay, I'm repeating for you. The past perfect, all we are doing is changing has or have to had. And this one is really cool because we don't have to worry about he, she, and it. They all use had in the past perfect tense. And now, the last but not the least, the thing that I need you all to understand is the auxiliary verbs are going to help you understand grammar easier, I hope. Thank you so much. In the next video, we will be discussing about modal auxiliary verbs. Thank you so much.